It's taken me around 2 years and the release of iPadOS to really make me realise how much you can do on an iPad now, so much so that I actually managed to spend an entire working week with it as my main desktop machine. However, I still mainly use it as a complementary device to either my PC or my MacBook. So I wanted to share with you how I actually use the iPad to boost my productivity in my day-to-day work. Oh, and YouTube keeps reminding me that 92% of you aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content I make, then consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot more than you think it does. Anyway, let's get into it. The main thing that helped me get more productive use out of the iPad was task delegation. So rather than focus on what the iPad can't do as well as a laptop, I lent into things that it's genuinely great, if not better than a laptop at. For me, the best example of that was taking notes. This is no secret to anyone who's been following the channel for a while, but it's one of my favourite uses of the iPad. In a productivity sense, I find I need to write things down to really remember them. I can type pretty much anything now absent-mindedly, so doing that doesn't really work for me, but the physical act of drawing each letter ingrains it into my brain that bit more. There's also a certain responsibility that comes with looking at your own handwriting that shouts, "Get this stuff done." There's huge benefits to keeping notes digital in general. You can have multiple notebooks in one app, search for your handwriting, create never-ending books, change the type of paper, colours, implement smart objects. The sky almost feels like the limit with them. At the moment, I'm constantly switching apps to find the best one, and I'll have a video on my findings for that soon, so make sure you're subscribed to see it. Another example is photo editing. I've moved 90% of my photo editing tasks to the iPad. As the pandemic has raged on, my client shoots have gone down pretty considerably, so most of my photography projects are either much smaller in scale or are totally personal. I don't need to make use of the legacy version of Lightroom to apply some presets and add minor corrections. The mobile version for iPad handles most of what its desktop counterpart can do, with added benefits like cloud backups. It's an exceptional app, and because it's already based on iPad, posting those photos to social media like Instagram is an absolute breeze. Of course, task delegation will be totally subjective depending on what you do, but I found it to be a powerful way to get a richer experience out of my iPad, rather than sticking to a PC or a laptop. I really recommend you give it a go and find out what fits best with your personal workflow. This might sound like an obvious one, but I can't begin to explain the benefits of having your iPad home screen set up so there's no barrier to work. I've actually come and gone with this in the past, but recently I've gone back to it and I don't know why I ever stopped doing it. I set up my iPad so every row of apps has a theme. The top row is classic work apps like calendars, to-dos, documents. The second is for creative apps, so your Adobes and the like, and the third is based on socials. I don't actually fill the rest of the space so it doesn't feel cluttered, which I know might frustrate some, but I do like it this way. That then leaves the bottom dock for the constant apps, the ones that I always come back to or need quick access to regardless of what I'm doing on the iPad. Spending time finding an app that you know you have somewhere is such a waste of time, so spending an hour or so figuring out the setup has been well worth it. As a further tip, if I do lose track of an app or a document within an app, I always pull down from the top and type in the first two letters, and the iPad generally finds it quicker than I can. Something I put off for the longest time was getting to grips with multitasking on the iPad, and since doing it, it's helped me just be quicker in the tasks I undertake. Aside from the classic side-by-side for multitasking, which I think most of us are aware of, I always found I forgot about slide over. Small apps can actually really thrive here. Task managers are a classic example, so you can tick things off as you go, but Twitter and Spotify also fit the bill well. You can stack apps in slide over too and switch between them by sliding up or by swiping side to side. Keeping smaller apps in here is ideal. Rather than jumping out of your current task, you can just slide them over, tick things off and then slide it back. It's just a great way to keep on top of those little things. Occasionally when I'm working on a larger project, I'll make use of the iPad as a second display. On Mac, this is super easy with Sidecar, which is built into macOS, but you can also unlock this on Windows using an app called Duet Display. There's loads of benefits to doing this, the main one obviously being more screen space, but a benefit of using the iPad is you can still use it as a touchscreen. Generally speaking, I'll use this when I'm working on a design project and I need to focus. I'll use the iPad screen to hold the client brief or general design ideas, so I don't have to switch apps on my main window. Lastly, I track my general day-to-day tasks on the iPad. I mainly make use of Microsoft To Do, which is a nice list making app that's pretty simple. I'll add everything I have going on to this and then make sure it's open in slide over so I can see it quickly when I need to. There's a bigger feature set for To Do here. Ben and I share a list so we can keep track of what we're talking about on the podcast, but I mainly keep it super simple. So that pretty much rounds up all the ways I've been using the iPad Air to stay productive as possible. As ever, I always like to hear from you, so if there's a way you've been using the iPad to help you work, then I'd love to hear about it in the comments section below. Also keep in mind that the truth about productivity is everyone does things differently, and what helps some won't help others. So don't feel bad if you work in other ways, it's totally normal, and you've got to do what works for you. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, do pop a like, that would be massive, and I will see you all in the next one.